Hello folks, I'm back on the Grunow Chassis 6C. This is the radio that my dad gave me. In the first video, we took a look at the chassis condition itself, the rust removal that will be required, and as well we flipped it over and looked at the component side, which is somewhat of a rat's nest due to some prior repairs that have been made. One thing I did notice here, I'm going to have to go ahead and get this tuning condenser off the radio. It's a total mess. It's completely seized up. I can just move it just a little bit. So I don't want to create any additional damage that may already be done and take a chance of shorting some of the plates together. So stay tuned. First thing I'm going to do is get this tuning condenser off the chassis. I'll document on paper all the connections as well, do some digital photographs for future reference. Okay, I'm back with you. I have the tuning condenser removed from the chassis. And I'll tell you one thing that was very interesting. I think there were 5 or 6 different ground connections from the chassis back to the tuning condenser. You can see here some are attached with screws. Others are actually soldered. And I did take some great digital photography here, and I hope I captured the routing of the wire as well so I don't create problems when I actually remount the tuning condenser. As you can see here on the tuning condenser, there is some rust, so I will do some de-rusting on the condenser itself and try to get it cleaned up, and then shoot the frame itself with a clear coat to try to create a barrier so we don't have that rust reform in the future. The plate itself that the tuning condenser actually mounted to, that attaches to the chassis, you can see it's a rust bucket. So we'll get that de-rusted and give that a shot of clear as well afterwards. Again, all the mounting hardware and the seizing issue that I mentioned actually was from the separate shaft, and actually popped a couple of the bearings out, and I've got great movement now. So I think once I get that cleaned up and just get the grime out of there, we'll be good to go. No issues. Okay, I'm back with you. I spent a little bit of time just using some Clorox wipes actually and trying to cut through some of this crud to see how much dirt and grime there was on the chassis versus rust. So as you can see, I do have some pitting in certain areas. So I will do some spot removal and then look at the condition of the chassis itself, and I'll make a decision if I just want to try to apply some clear coat over that area in the spots, or do I really want to go through the trouble of repainting the entire chassis. So I'll make that decision a little bit later on once I just give this thing a thorough cleaning and then do some de-rusting with naval jelly, then make a decision again on how to proceed. Around the base of the transformer here, and I know my lighting's not that great, but definitely some rust here, so I'll have to make a decision if I want to pull this power transformer completely out, if I feel like I've got rust underneath that area, so I can clean that up as well. Hey, for those that haven't had the opportunity to look at my first video and look at some of these still photos of the underneath side of the chassis, just a quick look here at some of my concerns. Again, you can just see the legacy parts and pieces, but again, you've got a capacitor here that's not hooked up to anything. Check out this repair here. I've never seen such a mess. So who knows if that's even connected to the right location. And there's just parts and pieces here not even attached to anything. So totally amazing. Same thing here going back to the band switch. I've got some loose connections also, which is very concerning. So hopefully I'll be able to get this thing up and operational and playing. Again, I did do a quick look at the power transformer and the IF transformers, and I'm pretty sure I checked the oscillator as well, coil, and it was good. So we're going to just go ahead and move forward with the restoration. So stay tuned. I just wanted to give you a quick glance here for those that haven't had the opportunity to look at that first video in the series. So what's up next? I'll go ahead and get the tuning condenser de-rusted. I'll do the same for the mounting bracket. I'll spend some time on that separate shaft that had the bearings seized Then I'll go ahead and start my spot removal of the rust on the chassis and then make a decision what I want to do, if I'm going to end up painting the chassis or just let it be. So stay tuned. I'll publish another video possibly within the next week or so on my progress. Thanks for joining.